Hello, everybody. This is Texas Danny coming to you from February the 10th, 2026, on a Tuesday. Ironically, my late brother's birthday. And here in Dallas, I was driving around today. Why I can during the daytime, I cannot drive at night. My vision as one of the quantum jumpers from June 2016 lasted, I would say, 5 years of being an anomalist off, right? And the kind of a mix of both the natural DNA biology of the body I inhabited, the one for here, which I think is my spooky action at a distance other from who I was, okay? And to ironically, my eyesight more or less becoming completely normal in 2024, but being affected by the natural deterioration of the eyes. I just can't see very well at all, so I cannot drive at night hardly at all, except for very short periods. And during the day, though, in Dallas, I drove around as I've become because of recent economic decisions by authorities. I have become homeless, and I'm back in my vehicle now. So, and I've done this before. You got to plan ahead, and if you've got a car, you're the king of the road compared to somebody who's homeless without a car, unless they're lucky enough that they have a facility to back them up and take care of them or give them a place to stay. But believe me, you are light years ahead of anybody else without a car who's in that situation. But the situation is strange because I've decided to drive around some during the daytime when I can. And of course, I'm going by the natural premonitions of past experience in my biological life, as we've all had when we go and explore areas of town that we haven't been in years. Okay? And we all know that there's natural change is part of the universe, right? So that old shopping mall that used to be there has been torn down and put in a new one with some new shops, more updated for the common age and for the economic circumstances, maybe something else here or there. And you realize that, and you get some orientation changes and that kind of thing. And sometimes there's confusion about where you're at and stuff like that. I'm having that quite a bit because I hope I'm not going to get in trouble with this one. Because Dallas has forever freeway construction, and that's one thing that has been going on since I've quantum jumped. Right, without a doubt, it's been a kind of absolutely mandatory thing that the freeways are always under construction. And the maps have changed on me. My orientation and memory and my observance of the road maps with the freeways and stuff like that, there were changes in the shape and the angles and that kind of thing like that. And we know that there's economics tied in, political economics tied in with road repair work. Sometimes if it pays to make the thing to last twice as long for more money, okay, even though it doesn't need to go that far. But still, this makes no sense. And I think it is funny because it's the sun today was really strange in appearance. Really, I mean, it's white here. It's what I think is described as a white dwarf, where we had a yellow sun in my old reality, and it kind of had a unique effect on the sky. It gave our sky a kind of It's sort of like the shirt here. Uh, Kind of a ultra light, deep royal blue, if that makes sense. A piercing ultra light, deep royal blue. And way Robert Wood used to explain it when he did his videos on clouds. Robert was another quantum jumper who I think lost his YouTube channel. He's out in California. If you get a chance to say hello to him, his brother also is doing videos as well. But the description that he had for clouds, because we had a much more oxygen-rich environment, right? I think that's why our planes had the jet engines on the forward part of the wing rather than the reverse. Rather the reverse part of the wing rather than the forward as they have here. They have it on the forward here in this reality, whether ours was more orientated towards the reverse. Though there were some accentuations on, for example, where a third engine might be. It might be over the tail or depending. Aircraft technology was very comparable, but I think that it was maybe just a couple of years ahead here. But, we're taking, that's just it. Technologically, a couple of years, 2-3 years. So very much in the same ballpark, very much in the same era. But the clouds were very, very thick, very rich, and here they're just different. And today, I was looking at the sky, this eerie haze, odd, strange haze. And this is the thing, of course, I went on the freeways and I can't make sense of exactly how they're going about this. I was kind of clowning around in my head, making jokes with myself about, their design is for like a movie or something like that, because it's just extra channel roads on very large service roads, which I can understand, good sized service roads, but these are almost equaling to the main freeway. So that it's strange. But here's another thing that's curious about buildings and so forth like that were odd to me, strange to me. The downtown area looked different. A part of East Dallas looked different in that it had hotels as a kind of a featured spot, and they were larger than I ever anticipated them being. I know that you can have you get a certain hotel, name it, whatever it could be. It could be a 3 or 4 story job or a deck tiered kind of a place, and these kind of things always had where sometimes a couple of chains would be right next together, or sometimes 2 or 3, depending, and then some kind of feature that they would be around that would come in. But this is something like I've never seen ever. It was featuring 6 or 7 chains altogether. I've never seen that. Matter of fact, I was thinking, what are the economics here? Of course, I could see for a group of 2 or 3 together, that kind of thing, and depending on what was nearby. And I was thinking, except for the Cotton Bowl being in this reality as well as was my reality, the stadium that I was trying to figure out what it could be featured for, because it was large, very large, and again there were several buildings that seemed oddly different, distinct, and oddly placed in Dallas, which I didn't recognize. Now I realize that happens with everybody when you haven't been driving around and you go swinging through another area that you haven't been in years. You're going to see a couple of new 2 or 3 things and then get your eyes kind of filled. But I was really stymied today. I really had the impression of alterations, of changes of shifts. That's really what I had. physically, I've been feeling bad, real bad, and that kind of thing. So I don't know if anybody else has had these experiences and stuff like that. I'm worried about the quantum community, and I know that there are some people who, well, they never considered themselves any part of any community. They just didn't want to. Okay, I respect that as well. I wanted to think that we all at least had some kinship, and I know that some of us have passed away in the mortal sense here. Though I think because of our perspective and our circumstances, that they quantum jumped ahead in their minds and went to the next reality that they shifted to, whatever that was, and continued on being an older individual. One person comes on my mind was Rain on the Plains from Colorado. And I had talked to her a time or two on her channel, and sadly only that, but at least it was a good time or two that we had to talk about the effect. And she had asked me something that she thought was strange. She said she felt that her experience started much, much earlier than any of ours. For example, mine was 2016 and hers was 1982. Okay. And I can't remember exactly if it was Colorado, but she thought Dallas was more or less kind of almost located roughly where Austin or San Antonio would be today. Thereabouts in the kind of in the heart of the state, in the middle of the state. Austin and San Antonio being closer to the hill country than Dallas and Fort Worth and Waco. And then, of course, you got Houston on the coast with Galveston. But these kind of things are still strange as to how they're happening and what her experience was. Because I told her that as far as I was concerned, that Dallas and Fort Worth are roughly the same place that they always were for me and my reality. And because Dallas, Texas is the first place I ever flew from Los Angeles, California, to come out to my relatives out here in Dallas. And, I grew up in LA as a kid, in Los Angeles, and I grew up in California, but I flew out here from time to time. I came to see the relatives in Texas. So Dallas was the first place I flew, but she said she was absolutely almost convinced. Now, I searched my memory. I did search my memory, and I thought it was odd and strange, just like Nelson Mandela. I had one of those ghost faint memories of remembering Dallas being in a different location earlier as a kid, but it was faint. It wasn't strong or pronounced. It was faint, but it was real, just like the Nelson Mandela thing, because I do remember a faint memory of Nelson Mandela's having, like in the late 80s, having a funeral and that kind of thing. So now that we're finding out in the Mandela effect that people come in and out of life at different vacancies and varieties. For example, Betty White passed away like 4 times for me. That was weird. I remember around 4 times that Betty White supposedly passed away. And then there's somebody who's alive back again. It's Captain Archer from the Enterprise. Is back alive. Scott Bakula. And it's a little strange. He's from Quantum Leap, right? And this is like, he's Bakula, right? And I thought, yeah, he's Bakula. Because I definitely remember, just like him and Judge Judy. Judge Judy, I read something on YouTube about Judge Judy dying in 2018 and being worth $42 million. Like an obituary, right? I wasn't really a big fan of the show. I had seen 1 or 2 examples. But now one of the thing though with the Mandela effect in her was supposedly something with the gavel. with the judge's gavel. It was missing from her in this realities, I suppose, right? But she's back alive, and some other people who had passed away, Tina Turner and Jim Brown and Alan Arkin, they came back, they passed away, and they came back to life briefly. Several people did that, right? So I don't know what's the case of with our ships or that kind of thing like that. But my concern about the community, right, is I think there's a very understandable human desire to live a normal life if you can, whatever you might consider that to be. Even if you live with the knowledge that you're not from here, that kind of thing like that, you still want to live some kind of a normal life. I want to just find out. The bummer thing I think right now is a pain, and I'm wondering how everybody physically is doing, because shift symptoms have been an issue in the past. Some people more acute than others. Anatomy changes have been going on continuously. So I got some kind of notice I can't see. I will see y'all later. Again, Texas Danny out.